All right, back here for some more Junior Gold 16 Spud hockey. A little late getting going here today, but no score, just 2 minutes into the first period. Lakeville dumps it in deep. Warzeka gets along the boards up to Judd. Judd feeds it up to Skank. Skank up ahead. Goes wide around the right side. Feeds it out to the point. That's off the mark, and that'll come all the way down to Chase Olson, who will play it. He'll leave it for Larson. Larson, lead pass up ahead, off the mark. Lakeville dumps it back in deep. Now Larson will send it up ahead. Too far for Judd. Lakeville spins it around in their own zone. Warzeka intercepts that pass. He has to get everybody onside. Chandler's still off. Hasn't touched up yet. And now back come the direction of the Spuds. Chandler leaves it off for Krebs. Krebs gets a pass up to Cluck. Cluck will chip it in and give chase. 3 minutes gone by here in the first period. Klosterman in behind the net. Krebs steps up at the point. Actually, that's Hodick that's in the game. He tries to throw a shot, goes off a defender's skate. And now Lakeville will pick it up from behind the net. They get it up to the point. And Lakeville will dump it in from the red line. Olson will leave it for Brody Johnson. Brody Johnson skates it across. He goes over to Hodick. Hodick chips it in, continues to pressure. Brings it around the near side where Krebs will step up with it. He gets it poke checked away at the boards. And Brody Johnson there to support. Brody Johnson chips it in low. And Lakeville able to clear out to center ice. Cluck near side to Krebs. Krebs to Johnson. Johnson. Pass gets deflected. Now Lakeville will send it back around the other direction. Over to the far side to Packle. Packle carries it back down in front of his net. He'll get up through center ice. He gets around two. Fenceman pushes him wide. Looks for a wraparound temp. Quick shot there on the feed from Packle is Gustafson, but a pad save there by the goaltender for Lakeville. Lakeville rings it to the near side. Sarian pinches in, and now it's one-on-one the other way for Lakeville. They spin wide around Klosterman. Klosterman's shot there, saved by Chase. Comes to the near side. Quick shot there, blocker saved by Olson. Sarian puts up the boards. Cardelee tries to chip it out. Lakeville able to hold, but now Sarian finally chips it out to center ice. Packle flips it up ahead to Cardelee. Cardelee tries to split the D, gets a poke checked away. Packle recovers it. Sends it in low, but Lakeville back out to center ice. Lakeville dumps it in behind Olson. Now Lakeville from the far side. Back to the near side. And now Carter-Lee will pick up the loose puck. Carter-Lee gives it over to Packle. Packle will dump it in. Lakeville rings it around to the near side. Gustafson tries to hold it. And now punched free by Warzeka. Warzeka will recover. Warzeka gets it stolen away along the boards. Quick shot there, saved by Olson. Larson picks up the loose puck. He banks it out to the boards, but Lakeville holds at the blue line. Loose puck, picked up by Packle. Packle will lead the rush the other way as his teammates go for a change. Packle in all alone. Tried to wrap around with the goaltender there to stop that. Chandler steps in off the bench. Unable to corral that pass up the middle. Lakeville brings it back to the direction where Larson will stop it and send it back the other way for the Spuds. Braden Chandler, long pass, gets intercepted. Warzeka off the boards, not out. Judd steps up, centering pass, deflected away by Larson. Larson kicks it to the corner. And now Gustafson banks along the boards for Chandler. Chandler gets it up to Skank. Now Chandler picks up the loose puck, it through center ice. His shot goes off a stick up into the netting, out of play. All right, battle here. Pink sends it low. Now Krebs holds it down in. Cluck works along the corner, and Lakeville able to finally clear. And that will go the distance for an icing. Face-off controlled by Cook. Cook gets a poke checked away, and Lakeville leads the charge back. They bank it around. 2-on-1 here. Centering pass. Oh, big save there by Chase Olsen. Pink banks off the boards back for Cook. Cook's lead pass out of Cluck's reach. Lakeville comes on the near side, back through the offensive zone. Up to the middle. Drop pass. Off the mark. Cook can't get to it. And Lakeville sends it back down deep. Krebs leaves it for Lakeville. Cluck now picks up the loose puck. Now Krebs sends it up to the blue line. Lakeville takes it away. Now Cook at the blue line, carries it in, throws it in deep, and comes on the side of the net. And the goaltender will cover that up for a whistle as Moorhead was making changes. 6:27 left here in the first period. Still no score between Moorhead and Lakeville. Lakeville winning the original game in this contest last night. This doubleheader. Packle down in the corner. Now picked up by Gustafson behind the net. Gustafson back to Packle. Packles, centering pass goes right to Lakeville, and Lakeville able to carry it out through center ice. Lakeville up across the blue line, shot wide of the net into the corner. Sarian goes cross ice for Klosterman. Klosterman up the near side to Gustafson. That pass pops off his stick, and he'll give chase into the defensive zone. Now Klosterman tries to bank it in, but it goes off Carter Lee along the boards. Carter Lee comes out of the pile with it. Quick shot there, saved by the goaltender for Lakeville. Now up to the point, gets past Sarian, and Klosterman will chase it down in his own net. Klosterman's pass out of the reach of Carter Lee. And this will be an icing on Moorhead with 5:17 remaining here in the first period. Skank in to take the face-off. Face-off one back. That pass goes off a skate up front. Now Warzeka will flip it up along the boards to Monroe Judd. Judd banks it up ahead to Chandler. Chandler with Skank and Judd 3-on-1. And back check from behind, and Chandler not able to get the pass off. That one takes a funny bounce off the Zamboni door, and And now we got a penalty coming up against Moorhead as Braden Chandler is going to go to the box. He'll go tell a story to his dad in the box. 4:50 left here in the first period, and Lakeville will go on the power play. Buck wins it back. And Warzeka will clear that the length of the ice. Up through center ice. Lakeville banks it up ahead. Warzeka steps up. He chips it back out to center ice. Now Cluck on the forecheck. Cluck will send it in deep. Now Lakeville settles things down. They work on their zone entry. They get up to the red line, dump it in. Caden Larson will glove it down, but not out. Now he tries to bank it off the glass. Now Cluck with a beautiful flip up off the glass and back out to center ice. Long lead pass. Cluck will intercept, and Larson will pick it up and dump it the distance. Moorhead will get some fresh penalty killers out on the ice with just 1 minute remaining here in the power play for Lakeville. Up through center ice. Johnson will flip it on net as Moorhead will get onside. Odick trying to get off the ice. That pass picked up by Pink. He'll leave it back for Krebs. Krebs looks to flip it out through center ice. Lakeville dumps it in. Taken away by Pink. Pink goes up ahead to Brody Johnson. He'll flip it in. .22 seconds remaining here in the power play for Lakeville. 3:10 left in the period. Up to center. Stolen away by Cook. Pink rushes to it on the near far boards. And Brody Johnson will pick the Blues puck out of the pile. He'll come to the near side to Cook. And Cook will skate it up. He'll dump it in as time expires on the Chandler penalty. Hold things back to 5 aside. Now Carter Lee flips it in. Moorhead will give chase. Walter Gustafson, first one on the forecheck. Krebs throws one in on net, and the goaltender will squeeze that against the chest for a whistle. 2:26 left here in the first period. Still no score between Moorhead and Lakeville. Face off. Carter Lee backhand ends one on net. Goaltender squeezes that one again. Lakeville controls the faceoff down low. Now stolen away by Gustafson. Sarian steps up at the blue line, but Lakeville able to punch it free and out through center ice. Carter Lee pinches it off against the boards. Now Lakeville goes to the far side. They throw it in the corner wide of the net. Lee tries to clear. Lakeville sends it back on net, and Chase will cover that up for a whistle. 1:54 remaining here in the first period. Still no score. Out, one back to Klosterman. He rings her on the boards, and Packel can't get to it, and that'll be an icing on Moorhead. Got to get to the board on that winger's got to get to the board if he wants that play. Gustafson will take the face off. Lakeville wins it out to the point. They throw it in, goes off a shin guard up front. Now Lakeville from the blue line. Blocker save by Olsen. Centering pass blocked, and now Gustafson will chip it to the boards. Backle, can't quite get to it. Lakeville sends it to the point. Shot in front, tip just wide of the net. Lakeville was right out front looking for a tip play. Now Klosterman. And we're going to get a penalty against Lakeville for a slashing here with 1:13 remaining in the first period. Power play unit for Moorhead. Skank, Judd, and Chandler. Larson and Warzeka at the point. Face-off one over to Judd. Judd tries a toe drag and gets poke checked away. Warzeka chips it in down to Skank. Skank up to Chandler. Chandler down low to Skank. Skank working behind the net. Centering pass. Judd, quick shot there. Pad save. Quick shot there by Judd. Off the feet from Skank, but goaltender kept the pad there on the post, able to keep that out. Now Chandler goes to the point to Warzeka. Warzeka down to Chandler. Chandler straight to the middle. Shot and score. Nice work on the power play there for the Spuds. Moving the puck around. Chandler finds some open ice right in the slot and buries it with a power play goal, putting the Spuds up 1-0. .39 seconds remaining here in the first period. Face-off comes back to Larson.
Flies down.
Why are you staring? Warzeka gets it up to Packle. He'll chip it in. Packle continues on the forecheck behind the net. Now it's loose. Chandler looking for a wraparound. Quick shot there as he backs up, takes another shot. Under 10 seconds remaining. Now Packable with a wraparound attempt. He's going to get tackled. And another loose puck as Warzeka climbed in under the crease. And that's the end of period number 1. So after one complete period to play, Moorhead leads Lakeville 1-0. All right, back at it here for period number 2. Odek carries into the zone off the faceoff. Works down behind the net. Continues on the forecheck. Now leaves it for Pink at the blue line, but Pink's unable to hold, and Lakeville comes back the other direction. They dump it in where Pink will pick up the loose puck. He'll leave it on the near side for Hodick. Hodick brings to the wrong side, far side to Brody Johnson. And Cluck able to clear. Oh, they're saying no icing. I'm not sure how, but pass comes to Hodick. He gets laid out as he throws it off the side of the iron. Krebs steps up to hold it in, but Lakeville able to clear. No icing on that one either. So Pink will settle things down. Delayed penalty coming up. So just a minute gone by here in the second period, and Moorhead we're going to go back on the power play. Packle, Gustafson, and Lee, along with Pink and Krebs here on this power play unit. Face off one to Lakeville. They'll bank it off the glass, and that takes a hop off the stanchion and out to center ice. Where Krebs will go back and pick it up. Krebs leaves to the near side to Pink. Pink gets tripped up by Packle's stick, or skate. Lakeville sends it cross ice, and Moorhead will settle things down and get their power play set up. And that's an offsides as Gustafson lost control of it right at the blue line, and Packle step ahead there. Minute 35 remaining here in the power play for Moorhead. Zeka and Larson come out to join the power play unit. Dumped in deep. Lakeville gets to it. Zeka pinches along the near boards. Now Packle down below the net. Feeds it up to the point to Larson. Larson battles for it along the boards. And he digs it out and gets it to Packle. Nice play there by Caden. Far side to Warzeka. Oh, looking for a tip by Lee. Gustafson couldn't pick up the loose puck. Now it's loose. Still loose up front. Goaltender was laying down, but nobody could get a stick on it. Nice play there by Warzeka. And we're going to get a penalty now against Moorhead as Walter Gustafson's going to go to the box for a cross check. So 12:46 left here in the second period. We'll be 4-on-4 for the next 52 seconds. Puck loose. Larson banks it off the boards out to center ice. Braden Chandler try to pick it up. Now it's Skank in alone. His shot just flipped wide of the net. He didn't have a whole lot on that one. Now Larson at the blue line. Gives it to Chandler. Chandler goes cross ice for Skank, but that's intercepted by Lakeville. Back out to center ice. Larson, near side to Warzeka. Warzeka, lead pass up ahead to Skank. Skank tries the centering pass, but that gets intercepted by Lakeville, and now Lakeville back through center ice. That's pass off the mark, so Warzeka will settle it down. Chandler will skate it back to his own blue line. Now up across through center ice. In the zone, 1-on-3. And shoots and scores. And then he checks his own teammate to the ground in celebration. So it looked like a harmless shot that Chandler just tried to throw on net. It hit the far post and went in. And that's a 4-on-4 goal, even strength. There's 2 seconds remaining in the Lakeville penalty. So in 2 seconds, Lakeville will go on the power play. Judd didn't take the face off. He chips it up ahead. He'll chase in after it. Never a shortage of an effort from Monroe Judd. Comes back out to the neutral zone. Pink goes cross ice to Krebs. Krebs throws it all the way in on net. As Moorhead now on the penalty kill. Lakeville from their own goal line. Work on their exit play. Lakeville to the near side. They chip it up. That gets deflected. Nope. No, they're saying that's icing. So an icing on Lakeville brings the face-off back down to the other end. Lakeville gains possession. They try to center a pass. It goes right off of Hodek's chest. Big check there by Packle at center ice. Lakeville dumps it in. Krebs down to his own goal line. And he'll take and flip it up. The length. Goaltender's looking for icing, but he doesn't realize they're on the power play. Now up through center ice comes Lakeville. A shot on net, and Chase will glove that as time expires on the Gustafson penalty. So 10:46 left here in the second period. Spuds lead 2-0 against Lakeville. Both teams back to 5 aside. Puck off, face off to the boards. Quick shot on net, and Chase will glove that and hang on to it. Picked up, face-off win picked up by Brody Johnson. Now he'll chip it over to Cook. Cook will dump it in from the red line. Brody hustles into the corner. He's got it pinned up against the wall. Cook's trying to dig it out. Comes out front. And Lakeville picks it up and sends it the distance, and that's an icing against Lakeville. Puck hustles after it, below the goal line. Now he'll chip it up to his defenseman. Larson, quick shot there. That goes out, deflects a couple places. Larson tries to hold in at the blue line, but Lakeville gets up ahead. Good hustle by Cluck on the back check. Now up front, Lakeville, quick shot there. Blocker save by Olsen. Now Brody banks it off the boards out to center ice. Lakeville sends it back in. Larson. Long lead pass. That's batted out of midair. Now Cook's cross ice pass. Can't get past the Lakeville stick. Now Lakeville up through center. That's poke checked away by Warzeka. Cluck supporting back. Cluck gets it up ahead. Now center ice is Lakeville. They'll dump it in, and that's short of the red line, so that'll be an icing against Lakeville. 9:10 remaining here in the second period. Face-off, Packle chips it low. That was a battle on the boards. Gustafson with some support. Osterman steps up to help out, but loses a stick on the play. Lakeville sends it in on net, and Chase will calmly cover that up. 8:53 remaining here in the second period. Gustafson wins it back to Klosterman. He tries to bank it off the glass. Moorhead forwards were running the other direction when we didn't have possession. So that'll come on net and Chase will cover it up again. Lakeville wins it out to the point. They try to throw it on net. That hits a mass of bodies up front. And Klosterman comes out with it. Klosterman up through center ice. Gets tied up. So he'll chip it in. Now Gustafson takes it away at the point. Gustafson skates wide. Quick shot there and a glove save by the goaltender for Lakeville. Still a 2-0 lead here for Moorhead. Face-off controlled by Lakeville. They chip it out to center ice. Krebs loses his stick on the play. Got it tied up in some legs. And Chandler chips out. Tries to chip it in the zone when it goes up and out of the glass, out of play. Face-off just coming outside the Lakeville zone. Skank wins it back to Krebs. Krebs, cross-ice pass for Judd. It was in his skates. Now Judd throws it in deep. Into the far corner to Braden Chandler. Now Pink steps up to hold it deep. Packle right on the side of the net. Loose puck. And we're going to get a whistle as the net's off its peg. A lot of bodies battling against the side of the net. I'm sure knocked it loose. 7:42 remaining here in the second period. Skank in to take the face-off with Judd and Chandler. Face-off one cleanly back to the point, but that gets past Pink, so he'll have to go chase it down. Cullen Pink from his own goal line. Leaves it on the near side for Monroe Judd. He can't handle it. Lakeville holds at the point. Centering pass, deflected away by Pink. Now the puck stolen away by Braden Chandler. Chandler up through center ice. Splits two, but not the third. Now Krebs picks it up. He'll throw it on net. Goaltender will play that, leave it for his defenseman. Lakeville rings it around to the far boards. Now Pink in a battle as the puck floats through center ice. Now Cullen Pink up across the red line. Cullen working down low as his teammates changing. Chandler, quick shot there. That goes off a shin guard. Now a blast from the point. Pad save by the goaltender for Lakeville. Judd races to it on the near side, but Lakeville able to poke it free. Krebs, he'll go back and pick it up in his own zone. He'll ring it around the board for Warzeka. And Moorhead able to clear. Judd able and able to corral it. Lakeville spins it back the other direction. And that's an icing on Lakeville. 6:23 remaining here in the second period. Battle for the loose puck in the faceoff circle. Hodek hustles to it along the boards. Now Warzeka steps up, comes loose. Larson steps up, sends it deep. Now it comes out to the point where Ozeka, his shot hits the body up front, and Lakeville able to control. Up through center ice, possible 2-on-1, and Lakeville is offsides. So face-off will come just outside the Moorhead zone. Cluck in to take the face-off. Ozeka tries to get it across to Larson. Fan on the pass. Now Lakeville controls. Larson tries to steal it away. Tries to chip it out, and finally does chip it out to center ice. Or Lakeville will regain possession. They'll get back on side. Now Warzeka sends it back out to center ice. Lakeville sends it back in. Larson goes to the far side to Brody Johnson. Brody chips it up the boards to Cluck. Cluck up ahead with Hodick. Stop. Quick shot there. Just misses wide of the net. Now step up by Warzeka. Warzeka leaves it to Cluck. Centering pass. Now Cluck from his knees. Rings it around to the far boards. Klosterman fresh off the bench. Picks up the loose puck. Now Cluck from behind the net. Tries a backhanded centering pass. That goes off a defenseman. Now Hodick into support. Cluck throws it to the far corner. Carter Lee with a pinch-off move, but Lakeville able to clear. And Sarian will go back and pick up the loose puck. Sarian near side to Hodick. Hodick dumps it in far side to Gustafson. Hodick was looking to get off to make a change. And he does. Now Carter Lee. Sarian steps up. He chips it into the near corner. Gustafson hustles to it. Gustafson skates it up to the blue line, then dumps it into the far corner. Packel hustles after it. Packel from behind the net. And Lakeville able to clear. And that one will go the distance for an icing with 4:03 remaining here in the second period. Face off one back to Packel. He skates it all the way to the blue line. He gets tripped up, and Lakeville will go to the box for tripping. So just under 4 minutes remaining here in a second. Moorhead will go back on the power play. Face off one back to the point to Krebs. Krebs to the near side to Pink. Pink back over to Krebs. Krebs tries to throw a shot that gets blocked. Krebs holds at the blue line. Dumps it in deep. Now Packel behind the net. He's centering pass. He was looking for a Michigan, but he failed on that. So now Packel will spin around. Skates around everybody. Loses his footing. Drops off. And he gets a poke checked away by Lakeville. Held in low by Carter Lee. Packel tries it again. Gets it blocked. Now Krebs steps up to hold. And Pink will go back to his own zone. Packel up through center ice. Goes in wide. Cuts to the net. Shot. That goes off the post. Carter Lee. Shot. Backhander. Loose. Lakeville tries to clear. Held in by Pink. Pink leaves it low for Packel. Packel works in low. He's still looking for the setup at Michigan. Now Pink hands it down to Gustafson. Gustafson down low to Packel. Packel down behind the net. Out to the point to Pink. Pink shot, pad save. Rebound gets past Gustafson. Fink will retrieve it along the boards. Gustafson into support. Still battling along the boards. Now it comes to Packle down low. Comes up to Carter Lee at the top of the point. It's in his skates, and he's unable to get it. And Lakeville just flips it down the ice as they need to make changes. Krebs had his eye turned. And another penalty coming up against Lakeville as Krebs gets tripped up. 1:58 remaining here in the second period. 2 seconds remaining in the initial Lakeville penalty. So we'll get more. They'll have a very quick 5-on-3. And then they'll have another 2 minutes of power play here for the remainder of this period. Unless they can score a goal. Judd with Skank and Chandler. Lakeville rings it around the boards. Held in by Judd. Judd tries to hand it off to Skank. Fan on the pass. Now Warzeka just throws it across ice over to Chandler. Chandler down low to Judd. And we're going to get a whistle as the net gets bumped again. 1:38 remaining here in the second period. Nets get set, and we're ready for another face-off. Skank wins over to Chandler, stolen away by Lakeville, and Lakeville will dump it down the length of the ice. Warzeka will chase it down, left for him by Olsen. Warzeka skates it up through center ice. They'll skate it wide to the corner. Centering pass, deflected. Now Judd battles for it. Monroe. Oh, centering pass, but that was right through a lane where nobody was at. So Larson will go back, pick it up. Larson, lead pass up ahead, taken away by Lakeville. Lakeville gets pressured from behind, and now Chandler takes it back the other way. Braden Chandler up across the blue line. Cuts it wide, spins in the corner. Now sidesteps the defender, loses it behind the net. Lakeville tries to clear, held by Warzeka. Warzeka cross ice to Judd. He can't quite handle that pass. Loose puck, Chandler. Defenseman for Lakeville able to clear. Goaltender lost the stick on the play. Now Lakeville able to pick it free, and they'll send it the distance to kill another good 10 seconds of penalty. Larson, long lead pass up for Chandler. Chandler spins it in his own zone, loses it. Lakeville stops. Good defense there. Is Moorhead able to negate any opportunity? Now Larson to the near side to Klosterman. Klosterman loses it. Klosterman turnover. And that's the end of period number 2. So after 2 complete periods of play, Moorhead leads Lakeville 2-0. So we're going to take a timeout here for the Zamboni break, and then we'll come back for the third and final period here between Moorhead and Lakeville. right, here we are back first and third period action. Moorhead leads Lakeville 2-1. Moorhead starts this third period with 44 seconds of a power play. And we're underway. Brody Johnson feeds it to Krebs. Krebs cross ice pass to Cluck. Lakeville sends it into the distance. Krebs can handle on his own. Lakeville throws a shot off the side iron. And Krebs picks up the loose puck. That pass off the mark, and that'll be an icing against Moorhead. Puck in the face-off. Brody Johnson comes away with it. He gets hooked off the right wing. Hands it back to Brody, but that's an offsides on Moorhead. And Lakeville's back to full strength. Offsides on Lakeville. So we're 5 aside here. I'm not sure what happened there. It must have been a penalty that didn't get erased off the board. Lee flips it in from the red line. He'll give chase. Now Klosterman at the point. He gets a poke checked away, and Lakeville comes back the other direction. Lakeville wide to the right. Gustafson pushes it to the corner. Gustafson steals the puck away. He'll carry it through center ice. He gets a poke checked away, and then Lakeville sends it back out to center ice. Moorhead back to the one and done here. Let's carry it in. Let's get a poke checked away, and let's go back and chase it down. Gustafson, quick shot there, pad save. Lakeville's own defenseman almost put it down on his own goalie. Goaltender was point on task there, keeping his pad on the post. Now goes to the corner to Lee. Lee tries to hand it to Packle. Poke checks behind the net. Now Lakeville kicks it to the corner where Gustafson will pick it up. Lakeville along the Zamboni door, flips it the length of the ice, and that'll be an icing. And Olsen will play a saucer pass on target to the official on the other end. We'll get a face-off down in the Lakeville zone. Chips it in low. Judd hustles to it in the corner. Lakeville punches it out to the neutral zone, and Braden Chandler will skate it through center ice. He loses it, chipped away by Lakeville. Now Larson goes cross ice towards Eka. His pass goes up through the neutral zone. Moorhead chips it in. Skank hustles to it. Zeka pinches it along the boards. Judd looks to pull it out. Judd pokes it loose to Skank. He'll dump it in low. Chandler from behind the net picks up the loose puck. Now he gets it up towards Zeka. Zeka throws a shot on net. Bad save there by the goaltender. And Larson will settle things down in his own zone. Larson gets it up ahead to Judd. Lakeville up through center. Larson gets a stick on that shot attempt. Now Warzeka will pick up the loose puck. Warzeka's pass way off the mark, and that gets intercepted by Lakeville. Lakeville dumps it back in deep. Warzeka to the near side of Larson. Larson up ahead, too far. Held at the point by Lakeville. They dump it in deep. Now Larson chips it up along the boards. And Chandler finally able to poke it free. Turned around at the blue line. Lakeville back in. Lakeville spins around looking for help. Now they dump it deep where Warzeka will pick it up. Warzeka's pass. Chandler on the handle. Now Lakeville dumps it in low. They throw a shot on net, and that one pops over Olsen's pass, but he wisely gets his glove on it to cover it up for a whistle. Moorhead, looks like they forgot that there's a third period. Face-off drop. Pink rings it around the boards. Cut off by Lakeville on the exit. Now Cluck gets it out to center ice. Lakeville dumps it back in. Krebs. Want to put it up for me? Krebs chips it up to the blue line. Lakeville holds. Hodick on the near boards. Chips it out, but that's going to go too far, and that's going to be icing on Moorhead. 10:05 remaining here in the third. Moorhead leads 2-0. Face-off goes into the far corner. Sarian chips it up ahead to Packle. He can't quite gather it. Lakeville holds at the point. Lakeville from the face-off circle. Shot, glove save, chase. Olsen. Packle sends it down to Klosterman. Klosterman rings it around to the near side. Out of the reach of Carter Lee, so Lakeville will chip it in. Lakeville touches up. Klosterman sends it to the near side. Carter Lee. Now goes far side for Klosterman. Up to Gustafson through center ice. Gustafson cuts through the D's. Ties in the middle. Shot. Scored. Packle picks up the loose rebound as the goaltender was sprawled out on the initial rush by Gustafson, and Spuds take a 3-0 lead. Lakeville controls off the faceoff. They dump it through center ice. That's picked off by Chandler. Now stolen back away again by Lakeville. Moorhead chips it out to center. Shot on net. Chase. He'll leave it for his defenseman. Now Krebs rings it around the boards. Now taken away by Pink. Pink banks it up ahead to Chandler. Chandler throws a backhander on net. Picks up the rebound. Now he leaves it low for Judd. Judd from behind the net. Leaves it up to Pink. Pink back down low. Centering pass by Chandler. Picked off by Lakeville. They send it to the far boards. Unable to clear. Now Lakeville gets it up to the blue line. Held in by Pink. And finally Lakeville will send it the length, and that'll be an icing. 8:30 left here in the third. Spuds leading 3-0. Face-off comes back to Warzeka. Warzeka's shot goes off a skate. Now Lakeville trying to get up, rush up ice. Cut off by Larson. Larson gets it up to Brody Johnson. Now Lakeville controls in the corner. Centering pass blocked by Larson. Quick shot, turn around there, wide of the net. Brody Johnson gets to it. Banks it off the boards out to the point. Held in by Lakeville. Now Warzeka down in the corner. Warzeka banks it out the glass. Cook takes his time, looks cross ice for Brody Johnson. Brody skates it up ice, in through center ice. He dumps it in as he gets dumped to the boards. Now Warzeka steps up. And Lakeville able to clear. Lakeville head up on the rush, one-on-one. Larson with a little soccer-style kick save. Now Warzeka skates it up. Warzeka leads the rush for the Spuds. They got numbers 3-on-2 and Moorhead's offsides. Walter Gustafson in to take face-off. Tackle. Chips it into the zone. Lakeville sends it right back out. Sarian steps up and dumps it in. Tackle in the corner. Along with Gustafson. Gustafson goes across net. Feeds it up to the point to Sarian. Sarian back down low. Gets past Packle, so Carter Lee will pick it up in the corner. Carter finds Tackle. He tries to find Gustafson out front, and that's an offsides on Moorhead. Carter Lee chips it in. Lakeville sends it back out to center ice. Klosterman. Hands it off to Lee. Lee cross ice to Packle and offsides on Moorhead. Faceoff comes back. Pink will retrieve it in his own zone. He gets it the near side to Chandler. Now it's down along the near boards. Lakeville sends it in. Krebs looking for a cross ice pass. Lakeville's offsides. Moorhead leads the rush back the other way. Chandler loses it here along the near boards. He'll spin around and go cross ice for Pink. Pink up ahead along the left side. Gets brushed off the puck. Lakeville will retrieve it down below their goal line. Now back to the corner, but Judd's the first one to get it. He gets it to wrap around attempt by Judd. Goaltender there to get the pad on it, and Moorhead's going to get a penalty as Judd gets sticks in the skates of a Lakeville player. So Monroe will go to the box for tripping. 5:38 remaining here in the third. 3-0 lead for Moorhead. Lakeville going on the power play. Cluck in to take the face off. Krebs tries to clear. Cluck gets up to it and chips it out to center ice. Cluck with a forecheck. Just about popped it free. Now Lakeville goes back in. Shot on net. And Chase will squeeze that one for a whistle. Krebs banks it off the glass, but not out. Held in by Lakeville. They look for a cut across the middle. Quick shot there. Sliding save by Chase. Chase sprawls out to block that one, and the puck flops up on top of the net, and we get another whistle. Cluck wins the face-off. Orzeka tries to clear, but it's gloved out of the midair by the Lakeville player. Now Lakeville sets up their power play. Centering pass, gets through everybody, and comes out to center ice, where Lakeville will have to retrieve it and get onside. Under 5 minutes remaining here in the third. Now Cluck steals it, dumps it in low. Lakeville, pass up ahead off the mark. Larson will send it in. Cluck will spin around on the forecheck. Lakeville in lead pass up the far boards. Orzeka steps up to chip it. Quick shot there by Lakeville, goes wide of the net. Brody Johnson overskates it. Now Lakeville sends it down deep. Centering pass, and Chase will glove that out of midair and hang on to it. 32 seconds remaining here in the Lakeville power play. Face-off controlled by Lakeville at the point. Shot on net. Deflected in front. Lakeville with a centering pass. That's chipped out by Brody Johnson. And finally Brody follows it up and pushes it out to center ice. Now Lakeville dumps it back in deep. Klosterman will head for it. Klosterman will leave it for Sarian. Brody Johnson will pick it up. And Brody will pick it up and clear out to, held by Lakeville, but he was just outside the blue line. And Moorhead's back to full strength. Brody on the forecheck. Sarian hustles to it. And that one goes out of the zone, back into the zone, and Lakeville's offsides. Right down here below us. 3:20 remaining here in the third. Still a 3-0 lead for Moorhead. Krebs goes cross ice for Packle. Packle gets a poke checked away. Well, he'll skate it through center. Gets it poke checked away by the defenseman. Lakeville rings around to the far boards. Gustafson and Pink able to hold at the blue line. Now Packle down low. Quick shot there by Gustafson. Just goes high over the net. Lakeville clearing attempt, held in by Gustafson. He'll dump it down low. Now Gustafson picks up the loose puck. He walks in, gets it poke checked away, and Lakeville tries to clear, but Pink there to hold it in. Now Gustafson picks up the loose puck. Gustafson walks to center, rebound, loose. Carter Lee chases it down. Lee leaves it up for Pink. Pink shot there, that goes up into the glass. Packle feeds to Gustafson. Gustafson, quick shot there, Roos rebound. Lakeville able to pick it up and clear out to center ice. Krebs picks up the loose puck. He'll spin it back in. He'll hand it off for Packle. Lakeville up the far boards. Skank fresh off the bench. Moorhead has to get onside. Lakeville sends it the distance. Krebs from his own end. Lead pass up for Braden Chandler. Braden Chandler up the middle. Splits the D. Can't hang on to it. Tries to find the centering pass. That was on Packle's backhand. Now Skank takes it away at the blue line. Skank takes it low. He rings around to the far side. Cullen Pink hands it down to Chandler. Chandler in the battle on the boards. Skank's into support. Skank, quick shot there. His goes off the iron. Lakeville tries to push up along the boards. Judd's there to cut that off. Under 1 minute remaining here in the third. Chandler tried to center him pass. He gets spun around. Krebs pinches in at the point, but Lakeville able to clear, and Pink will go back and pick it up. Pink fans on his clearing attempt. Lakeville centering pass. Pink in front, loose puck. Judd finally able to fight a stick on it and clear it. Chandler up with Judd. Oops. Chandler working in the corner. Lakeville carries out to center ice. Krebs will let it go as long as he can. And he'll touch it for a whistle as Monroe is going to get a penalty. .8 seconds remaining here in the third. Lakeville goes on the penalty, or power play, as Judd gets a penalty. Skank will take this face off. Lakeville pulls the goaltender with 9 seconds remaining. Face off won by Klosterman. Klosterman throws it at the net. It's going to come out front. And Brandon Chandler slaps it home for an empty netter. Don't think the slap shot was quite necessary. And the referee says let the clock expire with 2 seconds left, and that's the end of this one. So Moorhead defeats Lakeville North 4-0. Chase Olson gets a shutout. And that completes our weekend series here at home with 2 ties against Egan and 2 wins against Lakeville. So from the Bushy Rink, thanks for joining us every Monday. Everyone have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. And we'll see you next weekend at the rink.